So far, we've applied effects directly to the clips in our timeline or to entities like adjustment layers or nests. But you can actually also apply effects straight to your master clips, which is incredibly powerful. So let's take a look at how this works. I've got a partial sequence here, and let's say that for some reason, due to the spatial orientation of the shots in the kitchen right before this, we need for Esther to be facing the other direction. This sort of scenario is pretty common. You just need to flip the orientation of your shot. And in this particular scenario, it just makes sense to affect our master clip since we always need the shot flipped. All right, so I happen to have the master clips here in this bin, so I can load it, and then here it is in the source monitor, and then I can come over to Effect Controls. But if you don't have that, I'm just going to close. You can also just select the clip in the timeline and then just press F to do a match frame, and then here you have the source clip loaded in the source monitor. All right, so I'm going to go over to Effect Controls, and I want to take a look at a tab that we haven't looked at yet, and it's this one right here that says Master. We're used to clicking on a clip in the timeline and then coming to the actual timeline instance of this clip. We know that this is a timeline clip because we have our built-in motion effects, we have our opacity, time remapping, and audio effects. All of this is built into every clip on my timeline, and of course I can also add as many effects to this as I want. However, if I click on Master, there are no built-in effects. So that's one visual way to know that you're working on a master clip effect and not the instance of this clip in the timeline. But even though there are no built-in effects, you can add whatever effects that you like to this. So we need her to be flipped. So I'm going to go to Effects, and I'm going to type in Flip, and we want the horizontal flip. So I'm going to just drag and drop this up to my Master tab. All right. And now I go over to my source monitor, and you can see that I flipped my shot. You can also see that the shot was flipped anywhere that this has already been edited into a sequence. So you see here that it's been flipped, and you see here. And visually in the timeline, you see this little red badge, and this is telling you that a master clip effect has been applied to these clips in the timeline. Now you'll see that this clip here has not been flipped, and there is no red badge. And that's because it comes from a different master clip. So I can select this and then press F to do a match frame, and then go to Effect Controls. Again, make sure that I have the Master tab selected, and then bring my horizontal flip over. And now you can see that I have my little red badge, which means my master clip effect has been applied. And now every clip in the timeline also has effectively been flipped. Okay? So this was a pretty easy example, and there really wasn't anything beyond flipping the shot that we needed to do, but let's say we needed to make some adjustments. Let's say that we wanted to also, affect the brightness of this shot. Well, if the clip has already been edited into the timeline, you just need to select it, and then I'm just going to type in brightness. Here we go, and we'll go ahead and add this to the Master tab. And because we're already parked on this clip in the timeline, when we make changes, we can actually see the changes occur. Let me undo that. Let's say that we don't have anything edited into a sequence. Let's say we're doing this at the master clip level before we've edited anything. Well, you can probably see the issue. My effect controls are on this tab, and the clip is over here. So if I was to make a change, I would then need to come over to my source monitor and see how that change has been applied, and then back and forth, and that's not very effective. So if you are making changes to your source clips, I would recommend tearing off your effect controls and just putting it in a new window. And then I can go back to my source monitor, and then any changes that I make in here, I can see right in front of me. All right, so I see both the source clip and the effect controls panel at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and bring this back over to the source monitor for now, and I'll delete my brightness and contrast. All right, and back to the source clip, and we have a little bit of a redraw problem with our program monitor. So to fix that, I'm just going to come up to Window, Workspaces, and then Reset to Saved Layout. Now, you can probably see when you would want to apply effects to master clips and when you wouldn't. Because I am correcting the master clip, and hence every instance of the master clip in this sequence and all the sequences, I've effectively altered the way this clip looks in my project. So if sometimes I want a clip to look one way, like in its natural state, and sometimes I want it to be stylized, then this might not be the best workflow. So in that case, what you might want to do is to just duplicate your master clip before you create the change. So if I come back over to my project panel and twirl down my master clip, I'm just going to select this clip and then right-click and choose Duplicate. All right, so now I have a couple of iterations of this clip in the sequence. And let's just do something very obvious. I'm going to just apply a black and white filter to this. So I'll just load it into the source monitor and then come over to Effects and Black and White. And I just want to show you that instead of going to Effect Controls and choosing the Master tab, you can actually also just drag and drop it right onto the source clip. So I'll drag that up there, and then we'll go back over to our project panel. And here is the original one, and it does not have a black and white filter applied. And then here is the one that I've applied the black and white filter to, okay? So that's when you might want to duplicate your clips. Now, to avoid some confusion later, since these particular clips have been edited into this project about 100 different times within all the different sequences, I don't want them to display the changes that I just made. So I'm simply going to undo until all of my red badges are gone. So Command-Z on down the line, and there we go. All right, and if you're following along with the exercise files, please do the same thing so that all your master clip effects are gone. All right, so being able to apply effects to your master clips is a really powerful way to work. Because the changes you make propagate through every instance of the clip in the project, it's a great way to make your changes right at the source.